What's up, heretics? Welcome everybody to our... It's not a normal Tuesday night stream. It's still members only chat, but it's not a normal Tuesday night stream. I'll explain. My little nurglings, my two children, over the course of the last week, have been particularly sick with a bad head cold because Brom exists and his child decided to infect this household. And Luce and I, up until yesterday, thought that we got away with it. And then today the pair of us have been like, oh no, Nurgle's got us. Okay? Nurgle has got us. So this morning we were still on to stream, and as the day went on, I said to the team, don't come to the house. It's not worth it. Don't get sick. If we can fight it off for the next day or so, we'll probably be back with the game on Thursday. If not, it'll be a normal talking head on Thursday as well. At the moment, it's looking like I might not even go to Hellstorm on the weekend for the tournament because I don't want to go making people sick. No, I can't. It's not. I don't like when people make me sick just because selfish choices, so I'm not going to do the same. Did you know Nurgle has used you as a crash test? I feel shit today, Rob, to be fair. So today's members total, Liam's go to bed fund. So big shout out to, Tanalvane? Have I said that right? Tanalvane. Big shout out to Tanalvane, who's already become a member of his own choice. That means we are 0.67% of the way to me being able to go to bed, basically. Because normally if we do a talking head stream instead of a game stream, we'll do it for like 3 hours. I said to Luce, tonight's going to be like an hour and a half. It's going to be a normal talking head stream because I feel awful. And actually, typically I would take the night off altogether. But I've just funded a studio and the bank account's looking rather empty right now. So, you know, we've got to work. Got to pay them bills. Got to pay them bills. Fuck you, Carl, as well. Who needs Halloween makeup when you look like that? Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. So tonight's stream was actually inspired by a section in Discord. I forget which section it was. I saw it where people were talking about some of the things that's wrong with 10th edition. And I don't want to be a negative stream. I don't want it to be like the 10th edition is terrible and it's missing loads. But it's missing some things. I think it's missing some things. And actually, I had a conversation with the GW store manager yesterday. Was it yesterday? The day before. But we were talking about 10th edition in general and some of what I think, personally, from a content creator's perspective, it's missing comparatively with previous editions. We had tons of fun with 7th edition on streams and on videos. We had tons of fun with 8th edition on streams and on videos. We had actually a fair amount of fun with 9th edition as well, which, let's face it, 9th edition was essentially an evolution of 8th edition. But what's 10th's missing? Where do we have a gap here? And people, I've seen some comments for you people already. If you want Amy to read it out, obviously you can stick it on a big colourful postcard for us. If you want a super chat, $10 or more, she will read it out for you. Otherwise, you can support the stream by doing those normal things for us. If you hit that like button, if you enjoy the content, smash subscribe. If you haven't already, those numbers are close. Have you seen over 27,000 subs now? Maybe 30k by Christmas, maybe. And hit that bell notification icon if you want to be notified every single time we go live. But I'm really to do that bit, get that bit out of the way, right? Otherwise, you can do things like Nordost and gift memberships and get us up to our 150 membership total, so I can go to bed at some point in an hour and a half and not panic about bills and stuff. Thank you, Nordost. You're a legend. Thank you for gifting a membership. So, what is missing in 10th edition right now? I think so. Here's where my mind goes. We could delve deeply into excuse me, individual model points costs. Hang on. We could delve deeply into simplified rules or different unit selections, or I think the biggest thing for me personally that 10th is missing right now is don't hate me, chat, is a fun way of playing. Okay, and what I mean by that is, at the moment, the only way that we can play 40k right now is either a single Eternal War mission in the rulebook or the Leviathan mission pack. Now I'm not including Crusade. I'm talking 2,000 points, which is what we like to play. 2,000 points of 40k. What do we have? One Eternal War mission, and we have the Leviathan mission pack. And I was kind of sat there thinking to myself, why why do I find sometimes 40k is a bit of a drag, a little bit of a drag? And I actually lately have got to a point where I'm actually starting to genuinely really enjoy 10th edition. Again, don't hate me, but I'm starting to genuinely really enjoy 10th edition. I'm starting to have fun with my hobby again. I spent the weekend hobbying. I actually sat here thinking I'm not going to get sick. And in between moving things to the studio, I did some hobbying. And I'm starting to really enjoy it again. Okay. So I was like, well, so I still have the same passion for this hobby. I still love the hobby. But where's the fun? And I started thinking, and I had this conversation with the GW manager about the differences in some of the previous editions to now. And so I was thinking about 7th edition and 8th edition. And I don't know why the penny didn't necessarily drop immediately, but in 7th edition and 8th edition, they wrote the edition. They wrote 40k.
Lemsip fund mate. Get better soon.
Thanks,
Flexed
Jay.
biceps.
I have been to the shop and I have Lemsips ready to go straight after the stream. After the stream is Lemsip shower bed, literally. We'll finish around 9 o'clock. Honestly, if we haven't hit 150 members, we'll be finishing at 9 o'clock. It'll be Lemsip's shower bed. And then tomorrow will be similar. Apart from it'll be a bit later because we have to do the normal stream time at 9. So, if you think about 7th and you think about 8th, what GW did was GW wrote the edition. They just wrote an edition of 40k. And when they wrote this edition, they just wrote it so you could play games, play missions, play Eternal War missions. And you had basically that in the rulebook. That was essentially it. Obviously, 8th edition we had the inclusion of Maelstrom of War as well, which I absolutely adored. I thought Maelstrom was a brilliant way of playing 40k. And I think that if they'd have done one tweak to Maelstrom, it would have been just simply to discard any card that was physically impossible, blah, blah, blah. The shit we used to do anyway for people that used to kind of house rule it. And then what happened is ITC came in, and ITC took the edition and built it into a competitive rule set. And you had ITC format. And I think that is where we are going wrong right now. So I think 10th edition, they've built it. Like the only way of playing at the moment is Leviathan Mission Pack. Guess what, chat? This might surprise you. My World Eaters don't want to hold a home objective. They don't really want to do that for 5 turns and stand there. I don't want to have to write an army list. And this is where I think the way you play itself can infect so many other aspects of your hobby. So I don't want to build an army list that specifically takes a unit that's just a home objective sitter. I don't want to do that. So if we then take that the next step across, well, I don't really want to build and paint a unit that I know is just going to be an objective holder. I don't really want to do that. We were talking in the group chat yesterday evening. I started building some new jet bikes for Eldar, because remember my promise? I started building some new jet bikes for Eldar, and I said to the team, I said, what do I put? What weapons do I go for? Which ones do you reckon? I was like, cannons, catapults, or lasers. What should we go for? And the answer that came back from Eddie was 2 cannons, 1 catapult. I was like, why? Why would you do 2 in 1? I don't like it. Why? Oh, well, because then the cannons are quite good. And then the catapults, because they're an assault weapon, allow you to advance and do an action. I was like, I don't fucking care about actions. I don't care about actions. Actions is one of the dumbest, most boring things I think they've ever brought into this game. And I don't want to spend 100 points or 200 points or 80 points or 50 points and have a unit go, they're going to go in the corner and deploy a teleport homer. They're going to go and investigate a signal. No. I want my armies to fight each other. That's what I want them to do. And this guy from GW, and I'm not going to mention names or store specifically because it wouldn't be fair to, completely agreed. On top of which he said, I don't want my Space Marine captains to be taken because tactically I can use a stratagem for free. What I actually want is my Space Marine captain to be balling in there with a bajillion attacks, slashing people down and fighting people. That's what he wants his captain to do because he's a Space Marine captain. That's the thing that he wants them to do. So we're in a position where actually every game of 40k at the moment, because Leviathan Mission Pack, is kind of same. There's a little bit of variance in it. If you go random secondary objectives, if you go random secondaries, there's a little bit of variance in it. And yes, you can randomly draw your primary, you can randomly draw your mission objective, but it's kind of dull now already, and the edition's been out for 4 months. So I'm having fun because we're now making choices that aren't designed for objective holders or actions, and we're not playing competitively, and we're picking fun stuff. And the team are picking fun stuff, and they're writing more fun lists. Who knew Eddie could bring a fun Necron list full of destroyers? Like, that stuff is cool, right? And that's why I'm enjoying 40k more. We're also getting excited in the studio about bringing more narrative content to the channel. And even if it's not linked, if it's not 10 games linked together about some long narrative, it can be a one-off game where, you know what, we're not playing Leviathan mission pack, we're not standing on a home objective for 5 fucking turns, and we're not going to go in the corner and do actions, but what we're going to have is we're going to have a custom set of win conditions. So that we can tell the story that we want to tell about the Tyranids fight in the Astra Militarum, about the Orcs having a scrap with the World Eaters, about the Raven Guard striking from the shadows and taking on the Aldari. Like, that's the kind of cool shit that we're missing in general at the moment. And I think that this is relatively easily solved, if I'm honest with you. Leviathan is okay. It's still not Tempest good. It's definitely not Maelstrom good, if I'm honest with it. And I think that we need to go back to having a core set that's based on 6-7 Eternal War objectives that are super easy, super simple, and then just play. Because since we've come away from worrying about secondaries and worrying about objectives and worrying about who wins the games, we're just having more fun. So I think what we're missing from 40k right now is fun ways of playing. And I think that at the moment it's kind of reliant on the community and the people that are playing the game to kind of make up those fun ways of playing. But actually, typically, most of us won't just allow... So what GW will tell you is, okay, but the rule of 3 is for match play, and Leviathan Mission Pack is for match play. So for narrative, guess what? You can do what you fucking want. You can do what you want. And they're not wrong. We can. But the problem is people want kind of like boundaries, restrictions. People want guidance as to how they do that. Not everybody is creative enough to just come up with their own missions. So I think that what we're missing on the whole, and I don't necessarily have the answer to this, to be fair, and GW are probably better at this than I am on the whole, but I think we're missing fun ways of playing 40k and telling narrative stories. That's my personal thoughts. That's it. That's 15 minutes of me talking about it, but the floor's open. Am I wrong? Am I right? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Well, what do you think is missing? Do you think it's missing anything? Do you think it's great right now? I personally think that the core focus being around essentially a tournament way of playing is ruining our hobby personally. Just my feeling. And I say ruining my hobby. I'm actually really enjoying my hobby in general, but I don't think that I find this as fun as editions ago. And what was interesting, I was reading in the Discord server, someone was saying that it started to go downhill when they allowed super heavies and flyers into the game, and then when they changed, you can't ever wound. When they changed it so that you auto wound on a 6 and you'd never wound on a 1, that ruined it a bit more. And I actually am compelled to kind of agree a little bit, because I think a lot of what's happened has removed kind of narrative flavour from the game. A Knight Titan taken to the field in 2,000 points, even a Primarch. The Primarchs are cool. They must have made them a bunch of money, but Primarchs turning up at every single battle is it's just not something that happens, narratively speaking, right? So arguably we end up in a situation where the tabletops are kind of non-reflective of the narrative to a point. And then a Grot shouldn't be able to tear, in my opinion, shouldn't be able to tear down an Imperial Knight, in my opinion. And I think that if you fire a volcano cannon at a Space Marine, even a Space Marine, he should probably just evaporate. That's just something that should probably happen. Balancing that's difficult, right? But I think that those sorts of narrative choices should come back. And it's tough. It's hard to get this spot on and to balance the game perfectly between competitive and narrative players. They want it to do both, right? To be honest with you, they want people to be able to enjoy themselves. But I feel like 10th edition specifically has focused too hard on what makes a game competitive and balanced rather than kind of why we play it in the first place. Anyway, tell me what you think, chap. So anyway, JK, thank you so much for the 10. Roscoe, thank you for becoming a Jarl Tier member. You're a hero. Alex, thank you for the 1 gifted. You legend. Stick Monkey with the 10 gifted. You're a hero. Thank you so much. And Big Bad Peter Game with the 5. I love you both dearly. Mordy Hammer and Mr. Sven, thank you for the 1 gifted. That puts us on 21 of the finest off the bat. Thank you, you wonderful people. You wonderful people. Big Bad Peter Gaming, thanks for the 5. What did you think of the Christmas boxes announced? 10th missing blast template, certain units being larger, e.g. 30 elk boys, get what I've seen. So, see, blast templates is tough. I personally preferred blast templates, honestly, but from a random player perspective, who I don't know, blast templates introduce lots of arguments and stuff, and I kind of get why they've gone to where they are now. I actually don't hate the current blast rules. I actually think they're all right. They're probably slightly quicker, slightly simpler. But I get it. Like templates, I love templates personally. I love the Flamer template. I love the Blast template. Honestly, I love those things. Because for me, they give you... They just give you slightly more immersion when you... Especially the scattered... I love the scattered dice mechanic. I was a big fan of that. But again, you have to... Like, random game pickups. Tournaments specifically, I saw a lot of people... who would argue over a template placement. They would argue over which direction the scatter dice is actually pointing. And I think that when something just... It's the same as armor facings. Like, I was a big fan of armor facings. I really liked armor facings personally. And I liked the fact that if you were to get round to the rear of a tank and target the rear armor, you had a better chance of damaging or wounding because, you know, you're targeting the rear armor, and that's narratively what happens. I was mad for that kind of stuff. But again, that does include and increase some risk of arguments because, hey, I'm in your rear armor, well, you're not your side armor. And I don't like anything that removes that kind of shit. I'm actually all for it. So Peter, I love Blast. Personally, I love Blast, but I actually don't mind it not being in. I just think I don't even think the 10th edition rules are actually all that bad. I said it, the balance is almost fixed now. Look at the MetaWatch article from recent times. The balance seems to be now significantly better than it has been for a while. That's quite quickly done. In terms of how long 10th edition has been out, to get that balance where it is right now is relatively quickly done. So even the faction rules themselves aren't the worst. Is it my favourite? No. But I've told you people before, my favourite was 7th before all the formation nonsense. Is it my favourite rule set? No, it's not my favourite rule set. Do I actually now think that the rule set on the whole is actually quite good and fun and enjoyable? Yeah. It's just ways to play that we're missing. And someone said, there was a quote up in here earlier, you're on mute, so don't worry about plugging it in, you can go for it. I saw it because Willow responded to it. Taby, there it is. What's holding the community back from creating their own games based off of rules? And Willow said, nothing. That's the most frustrating part. 100% is the most frustrating part because there is nothing holding people back. And this is why we're really excited, I think, in the future to bring you some more kind of fun, interesting things on the tabletop that isn't just Leviathan Mission Pack. And maybe we could do this. Maybe we can hold the torch and we can run with it a little bit. Tell me when you're happy. And perhaps if we come up with some cool, interesting missions, we release it to you people. Free, because we have to. We can't charge for it.
I've stepped away from 40k for the time being. I was excited to get my son into the new edition. It was supposed to be the new player-friendly edition. I've seen nothing but paywalls and poor choices.
Yeah, paywalls and poor choices. That's that could be. Are you happy? You ready? That could be the name of the edition, I think. Paywalls and poor choices.
Name of a boy band.
Yeah.
Paywalls and poor choices.
At least it also, by the way, has lurgy, so be warned. If you're going to cough your ass off, let me know and I'll mute you just before.
I'll raise my hand.
Yeah, well, cover your mouth though as well.
Yeah.
You do that at the same time? Mountain Miniatures, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. You legend. Tim, thank you for another gifted. On to the 23, actually. Thank you, Tim. Love you. Tim quit his job today.
Ooh.
Yeah. No longer is he going to be an assassin.
Okay.
I know, sad, isn't it?
We all must step away.
Jonas, thank you for the 50 Swedish. 6's auto wound is a red herring for me. It was the abundance of wounding on 5s with rerolls that broke it. Yeah. I still liked the fact that a guardsman's las gun couldn't damage the front armor of a Lehman Russ. I kind of like that personally. I was a fan of that. So 6's auto wounding isn't the worst. It isn't the worst, but there is still a lot of reroll wounds out there as well. There's less now, and it was a little bit worse with original what's it called? Oath, but it's not so bad now. Josh, thanks for the 5. Sounds like a Horus Heresy style would be better in 40k if you know what I mean, with regards to toughness and strength. I mean, you can't. Yeah, so the Horus Heresy rule set is, in my opinion, a better rule set overall for narrative gaming. For narrative gaming specifically. The 40k rule set is probably actually better for competitive gaming, but the Heresy rule set, in my opinion, is better for narrative gaming. And I feel like they took 7th and kind of tweaked it and removed a lot of the nonsense stuff and made some of the nonsense stuff better. I don't like Space Marines versus Space Marines personally. That kind of bores me, if I'm honest. There's a reason why I love 40k. It's the 40k setting. And there was another problem I had with horror. Oh, the way the rules were laid out is quite frankly horrendous. The way the rules were played out was nonsense stuff, honestly. But hey, what do you think? Am I right? Tell me. Or do you think the problem is deeper? Because I actually, like I said, am getting to a point where I'm starting to really enjoy the hobby again. And I kind of got to a point where it's hard to explain, but like the Hellstorm event this weekend, I mean, I might not get to go now for a sickness, but am I going to play 5 games or 6 games of Leviathan mission pack? No, I couldn't care less about that, to be honest with you. I don't. I'm going to play against 6 other people, 5 other people, have fun and enjoy myself and meet some new people and drink some beers and throw some dice. But I do kind of miss that fun aspect. Like, I miss a Maelstrom of War. Maelstrom was carnage and I loved it. And there was no, like, the new version with this kind of mixed in Maelstrom on top. It's not the same. It's not the same when I still have to hold my home objective for 5 fucking turns. It's not the same. Maelstrom was great because 1 turn, go get objective 2. Oh, okay, cool. Next turn, guess what? Objective 5, other side of the table. Off you go. And those objectives weren't perfectly symmetrical. Those objectives were placed randomly across the table. Next turn, you couldn't give a fuck about objectives. Now you want to kill Psychers. Like, Maelstrom was gold for me. I think the edition just needs more time and more codexes. 9th had the entirety of 8th to build. Oh, well, 100% it does. I'm actually impressed. In terms of the core rules and the faction balance, I'm actually impressed at how quickly they've pulled that faction balance into kind of here. I actually think they've done a good job personally. A lot of people will hate on them for it.
Got sick yesterday, smashed a 2-litre bottle of original Lucasade. I've been a flying wizard ever since. I feel like a grot ripping a Titan down, rolling 6s for days.
I went straight to the shop and bought a 4-pack of orange flavoured Lucasade.
I think faction-specific objectives could be a good addition to the game. The idea of world eaters just tallying up bodies, friend or foe, for the blood god just sounds fun.
So thank you both of you for the 10. It's hard. Faction-specific secondaries is hard. Again, narrative perspective, Alex, 100% agree with you. Faction-specific secondaries is a good idea, narrative-specific. But balance-specific, faction-specific secondaries can be very difficult. We were in places in 9th edition where some factions, 15-point secondaries easy no matter what. And some factions, how the hell do I score secondaries? It's too difficult. Right? So I'm not against the idea. I think the channel could potentially build its own Maelstrom of War mission and release it to all of you for free because we can't sell it. And I think that could be huge amounts of fun. I think it could be. Well, you aren't supposed to agree. How can I be indignant? Oh, well, sorry, but sometimes if you make a good point, I'm going to agree with you. It's as simple as that. But I do agree with you. Like, ninth wasn't ninth. Ninth was 8.5 essentially. So essentially, at the end of ninth, we had 6 years of development from launch of 8th edition, and 6 years of tweaking and updating and changing and tweaking and updating and changing, and so far we've had 4 months, haven't we? So Nephilim was the best edition of Warhammer ever. Adding a couple of faction cards to the deck could be interesting. I enjoyed the end of ninth. You're right over there.
I was thinking about when we had the great DMV of 2016, and Brom dropped off because someone said about Lucasade. And it was on the bottle then, you're not supposed to drink it as a recovery from illness.
Yeah, I think...
And I thought, what a peculiar thing to put on a bottle. Now I know why, because everybody drinks it.
I think it's still on the bottle, isn't it? Not medicinal or something like that.
Yeah, it's something that's like...
It fucking,
why?
they're lying. It fucking is medicinal.
It is. It absolutely is. Because it's got all the electrolytes in as well, which is the first thing you lose, I think, when you're sick.
I went... I got so frustrated. I went to the shop and I bought some cough medicine, some Lemsip cold and flu sachets. Then I bought a pack of cold and flu tablets, and the till said nope.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what do you mean I can't have all 3 of these? She was like, she said that the lady at the shop was like, they've all got paracetamol, and I was like, so
Yeah.
so you can't have 3. You can't have 3 lots of paracetamol. I was like,
Please.
I was like, what about my 4 bottles of Lucozade? She was there for. I was like, but they're medicine.
I saw something really weird on Facebook the other day. Apparently, in America, you can buy a tub of 1,000 ibuprofen tablets.
There is some wonderful Americans in chat. Is that a thing you can do?
But here, we're not allowed more than 2 packs of paracetamol.
No, yeah. Although, interestingly, you can go and buy 2 packs of paracetamol in Morrison's, and then go put them in your car, go back in the shop, and buy 2 more packs of paracetamol in Morrison's.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Hope you feel better. There's a lot of it about at the moment, Fraser. There's a lot of man flu about right now. It's not just man flu. I think Luce is getting it as well.
Man flu's a thing. I think men have fewer white blood cells than women do.
You're saying men are weaker than women?
So, yeah.
I mean, it's
obviously.
true. It's true.
It's a real thing. I saw it during a night feed when Ben was new. The shit you watched during the night feed. Gogglebox was amazing.
So man flu's a real thing because men are weaker. Facts.
I think it's something to do with the white blood cell count. So you'll get the same, well, air quotes, the same cold, because no 2 colds are the same, but you'll struggle for longer than women do.
We do, yeah. I've seen childbirth. I couldn't do that. Fuck that.
Yes, Dave, I should give him one of my famous hot toddies.
Oh, no, because she uses my posh whiskey and that makes me sad. No.
I miss Slay the Warlord et al. It led to some awesome showdowns between characters. Felt like the real essence of Hero Hammer. The game is definitely crying out for more narrative-based gameplay.
Sean, tell me now, what's the point in having a warlord? Someone now, unless you're like an Eldarth, what do they call, autarch, where you gain a CP. To take away things where you gain a CP, someone in chat tell me the actual purpose of picking a warlord now. Someone tell me. Because one of the reasons why I liked ITC format so much was because they had one of the secondaries you could pick was old school. First Blood, Slay the Warlord, and Linebreaker was basically old school. Or First Strike, I think they changed it to. If you killed something in your first turn. But still, they called that old school. I miss that so much. First Blood, Slay the Warlord, Linebreaker. The amount of games I used to play, even with Maelstrom, where one of those singular points would win you the game, was incredible. Absolutely incredible. A warlord makes my army legal. Touche. Touche. Okay. Apart from that. I thank you so much, Zero Effect Craig. Hope the fan recovers quickly. Hang on.
What 10th needs, other than fixing the power of combat for infantry, is a book of new missions. These don't have to be balanced, they just have to be different and fun. Lots of weird stuff. Just fun.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got the balance, right? They've got match play. They've nailed match play really early on, I think. Honestly, I don't have a problem with what match play looks like now. I think they've done a good job of that. I just think if this is all if Leviathan mission, I have to think Leviathan mission deck isn't all we're going to get, because it's called Leviathan Mission Deck. So surely if it was the only one, they'd just call it 10th edition Mission Deck. So I reckon we're going to get more mission decks, but I want them to be...
Sudafed in the UK contains meth that sends you to the moon if you take enough of it.
I don't want it to just be competitive mission decks every time. So I want to see a Maelstrom and a Tempest and stuff like that. Honestly, I just think it's just a way of playing, and if we as a channel can write narrative mission packs that we can send out to you people as PDFs, and we can write perhaps Maelstrom decks that we can do, that's like, I think I've still got my old Maelstrom deck, a little bit of adaptation, and we can make that work. 100% we can make that work. But yeah, Steve, I agree with you. Just different, lots of weird ways of playing and having fun. I 100% think that's all. Honestly, think that's all it needs right now. I actually, if you get over the fact that the edition is different to 9th and it is different to 7th and it's just 10th edition because it's 10th edition, and it's more about enjoying yourself and having fun, then what we actually need is just some guidelines to tell us to go and have fun. And it's hard because you can just do this. You can just say, I'm not playing Leviathan mission deck, we're making up a custom profile. This guy here is carrying something rare and he needs to get to the other side of the table. And my opponent's job is to stop him. It's things like that, right? Like, that's not perhaps a great example, but things like that. And a lot of us will go, well, yeah, but we can all make that up. And actually, if you're lucky that you've got a cool gaming group and you've got some friends who are quite close with who you play frequently, then, you know, it's actually not that hard, I think, to probably encourage people to be like, hey, what about we do this custom scenario with our orcs where each war boss is trying to prove who's the biggest war boss. Like, I think people who play together frequently would be okay with that. But if you go, and so we get away with it on the channel, thankfully. But if you go on to your friendly local gaming store for a pickup game or something, you're just not gonna. I don't think you're gonna get that kind of engagement from an opponent, personally, if I'm honest. Carl is 1,000,000% right? Oh, what's Carl said? Oh, the Warlord purpose, because it's a minimal £35 for a single Warlord. GW says I must. But this is the point, right? So if you look at what you've all said about having Warlords, this is my point. Currently, there is no real reason for picking your Warlord. Now, a lot of us will make narrative choices. They'll make narrative choices, but at the same time, when your Warlord gets murderfied now, who cares? If you're very proud of the model that you've painted and it's your favourite mini and he's a good character, you'll care a little bit. But do you actually care otherwise? When you used to lose your Warlord to slay the Warlord, you'd lose points. I don't know. I think some of the flavour's gone there. I liked old. I agree with Sean Mystic Monkey. I liked old Slay the Warlord Linebreaker. First Blood, it was cool. I like stealing the initiative. I miss steal the initiative. Single dice roll, right? I miss it. Fucking epic moments with season initiative. Zero Threat Craig, thank you for the 5. Hope the fam recovers quickly. Thanks, mate. Sent you a decent DM recently. Just need your address to send your prize from the... Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, I will. I promise. Ginger Steve, thank you for the 5. Also, they need to fix the app because it says I'm not a subscriber, and if I try to resubscribe, it says I'm already a subscriber. I need that app. Completely shut the app down, cancel it, and reopen it again. It worked for me. It did work for me. Anyway, look, I can't go to bed at the moment because we're 16% of the way through. Perfectly placed cough there as well. You see that? Intentional, obviously. It's more. I have to wait for her to read these out. One of the best games of 10th was the Last Stand mission, Nids versus Deathwing. 2K Deathwing just had to survive on an objective against 4K Nids. That sounds amazing, Fraser. Exactly that. Did my package arrive yet? Says Tim. What did you send? No, it hasn't yet. No, I know what you sent. It hasn't yet. Oh, by the way, Willow did say that when she got over to the US, one of the first things she did was get off the plane and go and buy a 500 capsule bottle of ibuprofen.
Is it the same recipe then?
I pass. I assume it's very similar.
Yeah. Otherwise, it probably can't be called ibuprofen. I don't know.
Yeah. Heresy has all these things. I know it does. And I'll get Joe to paint up some Heresy armies. Remember, I can't touch a Heresy army now.
Why?
Because I said if I painted anything other than my Eldar, I'd shave my beard off.
You'd shave your beard off.
Yeah. So I have to stick with the Eldar right now. That's the thing we have to do. I was making Dark Reaper Exarchs and Banshee Exarchs the other day because all their rules have changed as well since 9th edition. So the ones I had aren't as relevant now. So once Joe has painted up some Heresy armies, we can play some Heresy. This is the object for the future.
10th needs more Lucozade and Sudafed night, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Kai. Love you. See you soon, sir. See you soon. Excuse me. Brandon says, what you're saying is the longer we take to get you to 100 members, the longer we get you for. No, 150. Look there. Let's see. Because there's a very real risk that I won't make every stream this week right now. What were you saying?
I hate being ill.
It's just awful, isn't it?
My wisdom teeth, they hurt. If I'm ill for long enough, they start to rumble away.
I always think that the first 2 days of getting sick are worse.
Nurgle's infesting me also, so on the Lemsips while watching I really enjoyed the open war deck from 8th and 9th, bit more chaotic than Tempest was, which made for some mad moments.
Yeah, I think I liked open war. I think Maelstrom was probably... I think Maelstrom of War has probably been my all-time favourite way of playing. We used to have a tweak, okay? So if you guys don't remember Maelstrom of War was absolute geniusness from Games Workshop. And so you had okay. Luce doesn't play 40k. I know a lot of you know this already. So at the moment, if you play 40k, you have to play Leviathan mission deck, right? It gives you a primary mission, a mission rule, and then loads of secondaries. So you're probably already thinking, Jesus fucking Christ. So your primary mission will tell you what you have to do with your objectives and how often you have to do that. Your mission rule tells you a whole other thing that's going to happen all the way through the game as well. And then your secondaries, you have to score these additional cards all the way through the game, and you get 50 points in your primary and 40 points. You've been through it. You've run the deck, right? It's a bit all over the place. Lots to do. Lots of people standing around just to score you points. It's a bit dull, okay? And if you think about it, even for a new player, it can be a bit like, oh, hang on, so I have to hold my I have to hold at least 2 objectives. And I've got to worry about this mission rule that happens. And I've got to draw 2 cards a turn every turn and try and do those cards. And if I do that, it's a bit messy.
I did notice when the cards came in, I thought, what?
So Maelstrom of War was also a card game, but it was different. So you had a deck of cards, and I can't remember how many cards there were. There was 36, I think, cards. Because you didn't have to use cards. You could use dice rolls to generate cards. But I think there was 36 cards, if I remember rightly. And what you used to do is, when you started, instead of having your perfectly symmetrical objective markers, like we currently have, where the card tells you this is where you place your objectives and they will be perfectly symmetrical, you and your opponent place 6 objectives down, numbered 1 to 6, and you'd roll off to see who placed the first one. So you could make cool things that objective. You could make, oh, that's a cool statue. That can be an important point.
Okay.
And that looks like an ammo dump. And you do that, right? There were some rules. You couldn't place objectives within 6 inches of each other. And you couldn't place them within 6 inches of a table edge. But you otherwise could go, that's a cool looking doorway that looks important. That's an objective. Okay. Once you've done that, you deploy your armies. And then at the start of each, Maelstrom had like 6 different ways of playing. But typically, for example, the best one was at the start of each turn, you drew up to 3 cards. Okay. If you already had a card, you draw 2. If you had 2 cards, you draw 1. You draw 3 cards. And I'd tell you what to do. So it might be go get objective 4. You'd have to look and see which one's got number 4 on it, and you've got to go get that objective. So simple. That's it.
Okay.
The next one might say kill a vehicle.
Okay.
Well, that's it. That was Maelstrom. And at the end of the turn, whatever you've done, you could get rid of your cards. Next turn, you could draw them again, and then go again. Go get objective 6 this time. That was it. It was just, here's your 3 things. Off you go. Go and do those things.
Okay.
That was the game.
That sounds fun.
See? Joseph Svensson, thank you so much for the gifted Man White Legend.
Why did they change it?
That is a very good question, Nice. Why did they change it?
Oh, did somebody get promoted and they had to look useful?
K12 Frosty, thank you so much for becoming a Skull Tier member. They changed it. Why does any company change anything?
Because someone got promoted and they have to look useful.
I mean, it's part of the reason, yes. Why do we have iPhones 15s, 14s, 13s, 12s, 10s, 11s?
Usually because people have found out how to make the previous one better.
I would say iPhone, I don't know, let's, for sake of argument, 13 Pro to iPhone 15 Pro. In terms of actual consumer use, minimal to no changes whatsoever. Slight improvements on things like the camera. But to the everyman, the person who uses it normally, probably not really going to notice a massive difference. But when iPhone do their press release, what Apple do when they stand there in front of everybody is they'll say, welcome to our best iPhone yet.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they doing that?
Because they want to sell it.
Because everyone who's got an iPhone 14, guess what? They want you to buy an iPhone 15. Because that's how they keep making money.
But I hope that we're all getting to a place now where I don't need an iPhone 15. This one's fine. I'm going to stick with this one.
But which people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a YouTuber I follow called Marquez Brownlee who does tech stuff. Who's like, if you have a 14, you're thinking to yourself, well, why would I upgrade to the 15? You have to get out of your head. It's like you wouldn't. There's no need. You can if you want to, but there's no need to upgrade.
Did he say that?
Yeah, that's what he says in his video, his review video. It's like you need to kind of stop looking at smartphone upgrades now as being every year being the new one that you need. And actually nowadays it's kind of like every 2 to 3 years you would need to upgrade your phone or have more of a reason to upgrade rather than a need.
Because doesn't Apple stop updating? So
Apple will tell you which phones are currently supported with software updates.
Yeah.
And some of the older ones will drop off the bottom when the new one comes in and they'll stop supporting it with software.
So what does that actually look like then? If you're a person that has one of the really old
So if you have
iPhones,
an old phone and the software update to start with, it will look no different at all. But slowly but surely what happens is when the newer apps, or when the apps in general, when Facebook updates to the latest iOS software that your phone doesn't have anymore because it's not supported, the app will stop working. So slowly but surely over time what will happen is all your apps will stop working. Your phone is kind of pointless. You can still call and text, but you won't be able to use all the other apps who have updated to the latest iOS. So if you're on iOS 17, if you're on iOS 14 or whatever, and Apple pushed to iOS 20, and iOS 20 suddenly means that it's incompatible with iOS 14, your app will stop working. Because that phone isn't being supported for iOS updates.
I wonder. I would love to be part of a social experiment where they give me one of the iPhones that's about to drop off a cliff, and see how long I can go.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Before I go, actually, this is really affecting my everyday life now. I can't, because I have a laptop, so I still have my phone life on my laptop.
If we loop it back around to your question, why do they change it? Why do they release 10th edition?
Because it's the best edition yet.
There we go. It's the Apple model.
Yeah.
They're just not doing it annually. Did 8th edition really, really need changing? No, the core edition was good. They did fuck it with some of the additional rules and stuff that came out. 9th edition, towards the end of 9th edition, did it really, really need changing? No, the core edition was good. Didn't need to change it. So why are they bringing out new editions? It sells.
Yeah. Oh, stop buying it.
Because when they bring out 10th edition and the game has changed, so you need different units to play the mission effectively if you want to be an effective general on a tabletop. And actually all the weapon options have now got different profiles, so that bit that you stuck to your man a little while ago is now not good, and you need to stick a different bit, and most people will go, well, I'll buy another one then.
Oh, I see.
And then, so your army changes dramatically, and all your points change as well. So you either need more or less or different units. So the new edition, what it does is it invigorates the seller's market again, and people start buying more products. And with Maelstrom of War, once you've sold that, I mean, to be fair, in my opinion, if they released a new version of Maelstrom now in a card deck that they charged you 15 quid for, they'd sell a fucking lot of them. So they changed it because editions evolve and editions change. And some of the things that existed in Maelstrom probably now aren't relevant. I'd have to look through my old deck, but probably aren't relevant anymore. So they would need a slight update. But I think they could update it, and they could release it, and they could play it again. And I personally loved Maelstrom. I think at the time I moaned about it a little bit. Looking back on it, I was wrong, and I think that it was probably one of the best ways of playing friendly 40k that isn't hyper narrative and it isn't hyper competitive that we've ever had. Because even you, like, you were going, he's going to tell me the next part of this game now. Like, he's just told me I picked 3 cards and I have to do those things. But that was it. It was all you had to do.
Yeah.
And it, depending on the type of Maelstrom, there was like 6 versions of Maelstrom missions. So the one I've just given you was the most simple one. Cleanse and Capture, I think it was cool, which was just 3 a turn every turn. There was one where it was like, in the first turn you had to draw 5. In the second turn you couldn't have any more than 4. And in the third turn you couldn't have any more than 3. And it would, so your things you had to do would get smaller and smaller and smaller. There was things like that which were quite cool. They're simple. It's just about how many cards you draw, though. That was as complicated as it got. So in the first turn, if you drew 5, in the second turn you only were allowed to have 4. So in the first turn, if you didn't score any, you're like, well, I've got to get rid of one because I can only have 4.
So
which one do I get rid of?
Which one am I the least likely to achieve?
Yeah.
Get rid of that one.
And do I get rid of one, and then do I think about getting rid of another one so I can draw another card that might be more achievable? Like, there's things like that. That was kind of cool play as well. I really enjoyed that personally. And if you think about Maelstrom and the fact, Jack, that you didn't have to hold your home objective. You didn't have to sit in your deployment zone. You could be all over the table all the time. You could get pulled left, right, and Charlie. And the cards essentially told the narrative for you. It was just better, in my opinion. It was just better. It was just more fun. Alex, thank you so much for the 10 gifted. You're a legend. He's trying his hardest to get me into bed. Wait.
Let's reframe
to get me to go to bed. Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much, man. You're a legend. We have a couple of super chats as well. Ginger Steve again. You fixed it, you beautiful man. Joe told me you'd be able to fix it, so I asked on here in case anyone else had the problem. Thanks for that, mate.
What did you fix?
The app. The app's currently got an issue where every now and again you'll go into the app builder and it'll tell you that you're using the free version. You need to subscribe. This is the Warhammer 40k app. But then you're like, oh, maybe my subscription's run out. You go to subscribe and it tells you, well, you can't subscribe. You're already subscribed. You're like, yeah, but you're telling me I'm not subscribed. You fucking. You actually have to close the app right down, like when you most people will swipe away from an app but it's still running in the background.
Yeah.
So you actually have to manually force shut down and actually close it down completely, and then reload it. And it recognises you've got a subscription at that point.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
See, that's why I married you.
So I can fix apps.
So I knew in the future, in 12 years' time, there would be an app.
I like the fact that Ginger Steve has essentially spent £10 to get his app fixed. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for the 5. Thank you, Skippy, for the 5. I enjoyed 8th the best. I'm hunting for my missing codexes for the armies that I have now, and I can still play Maelstrom with the kids. 8th was awesome. I loved 8th. 9th was awesome. 7th was awesome. I actually think we will in the future. I think, prediction, I think in the future we will look back on 10th and be like, hey, 10th is a cool addition. All right, 10th. 10th is good. I actually think that we will.
What's been the worst edition?
I can't really so I have played 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. For me, if I was to place them in order of preference, I don't remember enough about 6th, so I can't grade 6th. I don't remember enough about it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be fair for me to give you an answer. So we've got 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. 7th would be my personal favourite.
Okay.
Okay, what's very interesting? 7th would be my personal favourite, probably closely followed by 8th, then 9th, then 10th. So for me, it's just got worse. It's just progressively, they just keep making decisions, which is like, I don't understand what you're doing. For me personally. And there'll be other people where these same decisions, they'll love them. They removed blast templates and armor facings and all that kind of stuff. So it used to be, if you had a tank with a turret, hang on. If you had a tank with a turret, right?
You've got to make it.
You had a tank with a turret, okay. Wherever your turret looks is what you can shoot at, okay?
Yeah.
And then if you had sponsons on the sides, wherever your sponson looked at, you could shoot at. So if you had a sponson sat to the side of your tank here, and the enemy was over this side, well, guess what? You couldn't shoot at it because you can't shoot through your own tank.
No.
Yeah, you can now.
Oh, that's a shame.
You can now. You can do all that now. So armor facings were also, when you had a tank, And that's obviously an exhaust port right there. When you had a tank sat there like that, right, driving along, that's the noise the tank makes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The front armor of the tank was always better than the rear armor of the tank.
Well, that's what the driver is, isn't it?
No, but the front armor is also what's driving towards the enemy normally, so they make the armor thicker on the front.
Okay.
So you're attacking from the rear here. And you go, well, actually, draw a straight line. I'm actually attacking the rear armor, which is the weakest armor of a tank. So I actually find it easier to defeat the tank. They used to have that. Now it doesn't matter. The armor's the same all the way around.
Did you ever have tanks that if somebody shot at the rear end of your tank, you could like break off a piece of tank?
No.
That would be cool.
That's Lego.
Be able.
It's Lego.
It is, isn't it?
So yeah, so that was in there. I loved it personally, and they would have. I'm running out of examples now. They'd have blast templates, which are like clear plastic things, and then you'd shoot your missile, and then you'd put it where you want it to land, and you'd roll a dice, which had like loads of symbols on it, and then 2 other dice which had numbers on it as normal. And then if the symbol gave you a hit marker, you hit where you wanted. But if it gave you an arrow, you'd miss with your missile that you fired through the air, and it would scatter off that way. And then whatever landed under the template, whatever was under the template was what. If you look over something, go 6 people under there, so I've hit 6 people with my blast.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah, so that's what 7th had. I loved all that stuff personally. In 8th edition, they got rid of it all. Now,
why?
I do understand why. When I would play with Lee or with Brom or whatever, no arguments. We're mates having fun. We're telling a cool story and we're playing a cool game. People with random pickup games against strangers, gamey dickheads and tournaments used to have loads of problems. The scatter's showing that way, so I'm going to move the template that way. No, I think it's not quite right. It actually goes more that way than that way. You need to move it down a bit. I'm like, well, that's because it means it hits 2 less of your model. Oh, I'm facing your rear armor here. No, I think you'll find you're facing the side armor. And that it got fucking horrendous.
Wow.
Yeah, it got horrendous. It got really bad. So GW were like, do you know how we stop all those arguments? We remove them all.
At what point are Games Workshop going to say you're not playing it in the spirit it's intended? We can't keep reinventing the wheel. You lot need to grow up. At what point are GW going to do that?
You heard her, chat.
Yeah, grow up, everyone.
You used to have...
Yeah, Liam, grow up.
You used to have weapon strengths and toughnesses, and so if the weapon strength was less than half of the toughness of what you were shooting at, so if your weapon strength was 3 and you were shooting at something that was toughness 8, it didn't matter what you rolled on the dice, you couldn't hurt the thing you were shooting at because your weapon just isn't strong enough. So if I'm facing a Challenger 2 main battle tank and I'm shooting it with James's bow and arrow upstairs with its suction cup end, guess what? I can't hurt it.
But you'd have a great time trying.
I'd have a great time trying. We'd have so many stucky arrows on the front. Right, so that used to be a thing. Same as if you shot at if I was shooting my bazooka at his trike, it would just auto wound.
Poor little trike.
But those things that happen now. So now they've changed it because too many people complained. Well, what do you mean if I bring 7,000 strength 3 lasguns, I can't pull down a battle tank? What's your own fault? It's your choices.
I spent £10, well now £20, to make sure more people know how to get the app fixed. Don't bother telling GW because they will tell you they're making a list of the problems. No other reply to it. Bellends.
Thank you, Steve, for the 10. Amazing. Oh, I loved it. Yeah. So those things used to exist, but now, no matter what happened, no matter what strength it is, targeting whatever toughness it is, no matter what way round it is, if you roll a 6, you will always hurt the thing you're shooting at, and if you roll a 1, you will never hurt the thing you're shooting at. So what they did there as well is they removed a ton of variance. If you think about it, if a 6 always wounds and a 1 always fails, your variance is only 2 to 5. So when you're dealing with strengths and toughnesses nowadays, you've only got a 4-stage variance to work with. You look confused.
Yeah, for me, that's still a lot. I feel like it's a lot.
When you have everything from a toughness 2 creature up to a strength 16 weapon, a 4-stage variance isn't enough.
Oh, okay.
So a strength 16 weapon shooting a toughness 2 creature shouldn't have to roll to wound, in my opinion. because it's a strength 16 weapon. So if I hit that, if I roll a dice and I go, I've hit you, guess what? You're fucked. Because I'm strength 16 and you're toughness 2. Nowadays, what happens is
9th, 8th, 5th, 4th, 3.5, 3rd, 6th and way in the back, 7th.
Wait, what do you mean way in the back 7th, John? You're a heresy fan, you lunatic. Thank you for the 50, man. You're a legend. So yeah, so now what happens is that strength 16 weapon hits that toughness 2 creature. I roll a dice. If I roll a 1, I don't wound it. Don't wound it? I'm strength 16. What do you mean I don't wound it?
Yeah.
How can you narratively ever say ever that this strength 16 volcano cannon hitting that tough... I've the first dice I've rolled to hit. So narratively, I've hit it. I've hit my target. So you explain to me, chat, narratively, how when a volcano cannon hits a grot, how it survives. We've already established that it has hit the thing it's hitting. I've rolled the hit dice. How does that thing survive?
Well, you hear about people every day that escape death. Maybe... Have you seen the videos on Facebook? Guy riding his bike, misses a car crash. Maybe that's it.
Nurgle Matthew says instant death was awesome. I loved instant death. Instant death was another thing. So basically, if the strength was either double or more the toughness of what it was shooting at, it didn't matter how many points of damage that thing could take, it was dead. So if I shoot a strength 12 las cannon into a space marine who's toughness 4 at the moment... Oh, fucking hell, Steve.
The problem with playing with the spirit as intended is only some games can do that. Like in rugby when you've been beating your opponent all match long, then shake hands at the end. All fine and fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I still think you can do that in 40k, though, if you're agreeing to play narratively, Steve. Like, I think you can do it in 40k. So, if you shoot a strength 12 las cannon at a space marine right now, space marine's toughness 4, strength 12, a las cannon strength 12. So it's 3 times bigger than his toughness. In the old 40k in 7th edition, if I hit and successfully wound and that space marine failed his armor save, he's dead.
Then they started selling more in the US. It's all competition where rules breaking has to be 100% defined. We will rope in with them the mid-table cheaters in the UK. No gentlemen's agreements allowed.
No gentlemen's agreements allowed. Thank you, Steve. You're a legend. So yeah, so if in the old days, if you rolled and I've hit my space marine, I've definitely wounded him. He's failed his armor save. He's now flat dead because a strength 12 cannon has hit him. And then in the new edition. Even if you go through all those steps, I've hit him, I've wounded him, and he's failed his armor save, and I roll a dice, I've done 2 damage to him. I just take 2 wounds off of the 6 that he has. He's still alive. So I've hit him with the same cannon, but this time, miraculously, he's lived. I don't know how it makes any sense.
He just got lucky. I'm telling you, it's these people that escape death all the time. He's one of those.
We get... Oh, Skippy the Magnificent gifted 10 more members as well. I missed that. I just looked at my total, which was different on my screen to the one in front of me. Thank you so much, Skippy. You're a legend. Skippy's also trying to get me into bed.
We.
The rest of chat are not trying to get me into bed, though. Make it triple strength to toughness and auto wounds. I just think we need that kind of mechanic, though, Escape. I was waiting for her. I do think we need that. I think we need that kind of mechanic still. If I'm honest with you, auto wounding or not being able to wound is a thing I think we genuinely miss, and I also think we miss instant death. I agree with Nurgle Matthew. I think we agree we miss instant death. I think instant death was a good rule, and there was more kind of risk for your models then. Is it? You know what? Sometimes it's very interesting watching your reaction. Because I'll explain some things in 40k that I'm like, well, this is just how it works, because it's how it's always worked. And you're looking at me like, fucking idiot wrote that rule. Or I'll be like, oh yeah, they got rid of Maelstrom. You're like, why? I'm like,
Dunno.
I can't actually answer it because it was good.
I think if I did play, I think I'd get a bit upset that I'm enjoying a game and now I have to learn a new version to play with the people I normally play with. It just feels like homework all the time.
Yeah, it is a little bit, yeah.
I think it would upset me.
But Maelstrom was 180 people watching chat. Hands up in chat if you played Maelstrom and enjoyed it. Just give me an indication. Maybe you didn't. Thumbs down if you didn't like it. Thumbs up if you liked it. We'll do thumbs up, thumbs down. That's just what we'll do. Remember when Vindicated Tanks were scary and good area? Exactly. Auto wound then removes the need for devastating wounds. Oh, I hate devastating wounds, Escapade. I'd much rather have auto wounding back.
They did the same thing, the Americans, not the neckbeards in the UK, during the Revolutionary Wars. Fired at officers because they were in the front rank. Do they not understand the lineage of those men?
I don't know what he's on about now. I think he's off drinking.
It's Macari. He never really does.
The luckiest grot. He did, yeah. Come on, chat. Don't make me stream for...
You sound so healthy.
I'm sorry. I'm trying not to. But we only got 45 members out of the 150 I wanted.
That's not happening.
No, it's not, is it? I was like, we can do it. We can do the normal 100 at least.
No.
Some game systems fluff it as the model's ability to get out of the way. The strength 16 gun shot at the grot, but the grot by the skin of its teeth dove for cover, or the shot skimmed the armor.
Yeah, but Alex, if he dove for cover, I don't hit him. Right? I don't hit him. That's the point. I've already rolled to hit.
Is it dove or is it dived?
Dove for cover? Dived for cover? Oh, I don't know. I think dived. I'm not sure.
Or would you change the sentence?
We won't pick on Alex, though, because he's already gifted 10, unlike some people in
I'm
chat.
not picking on. I'm just one of these words. Me and Jim Jam come across them, and then we go, no, we need to change the whole sentence, because neither one would be.
Okay, so most people with the thumbs up liked it. Wee Man didn't like it. Maelstrom was amazeball, says DB. Played it once, was okay. I like my strategy war game to let me have more strategy, so I like match play. But Tank Top, the thing is, Tank Top, right? Here's the thing. Here's the thing that a lot of people often misunderstand when I'm talking about these things. I'm not saying get rid of Leviathan and have Maelstrom. I'm saying have both. I'm saying the way that this edition appeals to a wider audience and is more fun for everybody is when you have multiple ways of playing the game. So if you want to just chill out and play beer and pretzels high with your mates and just worry about kicking the shit out of each other, don't care about objectives, play that way. But if you also want a little bit of like guidance, a little bit of cards helping you tell a narrative, play Maelstrom. If you really want to pit your wits against your opponent and try your hardest, play Leviathan. Like, I'm not saying get rid of the tactical aspect of Leviathan. I'm saying play both. Ginger Steve, I'm not drunk. I'm just lacking people to talk to. Amazing. You can talk to the 50 new members that you make, Steve.
Yay!
That's got to work, right? It's got to work.
Well,
I don't think it'll work.
Maybe.
Dove is past tense too.
Yeah, dived and dove.
He said dove is now, dived is past tense. And then he was like, oh, I'm wrong. Dove is past tense too. Alexi, thank you so much for the 25. You hit with overcharged plasma in Grot's ear. So he has one ear after, but it's not serious damage. I explain it like that. Okay, cool. I love it. Yeah. Maybe Grot's for the wrong thing to pick. I know you're lots of affinity for Grots. It's when you like people like Eddie. Poor old Ginger Steve. It's fine. He can talk to the 50 new friends he's about to make. No? Okay. I understand that. It's like what you said about placing the objectives in cool locations. This is the thing. This is where I think I've worked out for me personally at least what we're missing. Like I said, back in 7th and 8th edition, we had the Eternal War missions and we had Maelstrom and stuff like that. And then ITC made competitive. And they introduced hold one, hold more, kill one, kill more secondaries, right? And I think that we had lots of different ways to play. And then I think that now in 10th, Leviathan, they've tried to make it all things to all people. And I actually think that's a mistake. I don't think it's a bad mission pack. I probably prefer it to some of the mission packs that we had even in 9th edition. Honestly, as a competitive gaming system, I like the fact that I can draw 2 random cards. I'm actually a bit of a fan of that, if I'm honest. Genuinely, I think it's good. I think it's a better, cooler version of competitive games than we've had before because it's arguably slightly less competitive because it's not just pick my 3 faction secondaries and I'll score loads of points. So I actually think it's a better version overall. I just don't think the game in general at the moment caters to the kind of more casual player overall. Everyone feels like they have to play Leviathan all the time because that's the mission deck. I've never had 50 friends. I'm Ginger. Sounds annoying. It's great, Steve. It's great. Honest. Members only chat tonight. It is members only chat tonight, Carl. So you won't see any grey names on a Tuesday. Tuesday nights are always members only chat. If you want to be in the chat, you have to be a member.
I dove into Nurgle's sweaty, sweet embrace and came away.
I can see lots of low-power shots destroying the targeting systems on knights or tanks, making them combat ineffective, which would be the same as stripping wounds off of it with higher power weapons.
Okay, I see it.
I think we just don't use dove enough. That's why it sounds odd.
Terrible soap. Thank you for the 10, Tim. Anyway, I appreciate you.
Not a soap. It's a beauty bar. It's not a soap.
Ginger Steve. I was only on the wind-up anyway, mate, but thank you so much for the 10 gifted. You're a legend. You are an absolute hero of the channel, as always. We have, chat, 24 minutes, and we're still 45 away from the normal stream target so I can go to bed, right? Steve wants to know if any of his new friends are here, which is Matt Dragon, Keith Loveday, Scott Leggett, War Hipster, Rolfus, Kieran Gallagher, Carl Pierce, no, not that one. Hang on. Ablayhu, WTF, Lord Boddard, Peter Trayton. There you go. You people can talk to Steve now, all right? Because he's your friends now. All right?
Oh, Fat Boy's cleared it up. Dived is British. Dove is American.
Oh, is it?
Dived.
Dove.
I dived into the sweet, sweaty whatnots that...
I think I've definitely used both.
I don't know. I think we will change the sentence to make it sound... So I wouldn't say I dived off the board into the pool. I would say I jumped off the diving board into the pool, because the word dived would just ring around my mind of that doesn't sound right.
Okay, how did you get into that pool?
I jumped off the diving board.
You're so fucking awkward. I dived in or I dove in.
Let's see, if you said dove, everyone you're talking to will go, what?
Yeah, I feel like I'd say I dived in. How did you get in that pool? I dived in.
Yeah, maybe, because we're talking about a pool. Maybe people will let it go, but I think...
I think we're spending too much time on this. Dang Skippy, thank you for the 5 gifted. Puts us on 60 of the finest gifted memberships. There's 192 people in chat. So, factually, if every single person in chat gifted just one membership at $4.99, we'd hit the goal tonight. Factually true. Factually true, all right? Every single one gifts one. What also happens, by the way, what you don't realise, chat, as well, I can see these numbers. Every time someone gifts 10 memberships, normally, sometimes it works on 5, but normally at least 10 or higher, every time someone gifts that many memberships, the live viewer count goes up. Because people get the email going, you've just been gifted a membership. They're like, oh, let's go look at the stream. Just saying, chat. You help more ways than you know.
My teeth hurt.
Your what?
My teeth hurt.
I thought you said your tea hurts. I was like, that's a weird thing to suggest has sentience.
Vegetables have lives. My tea hurts.
We appropriate American culture all the time. We, man, don't. Luce gets angry.
It just doesn't...
I bought a box because we were all feeling shit today. I went to Morrison's to buy all the medicines that I told you about earlier. And what I did do, they now ambush you on the way in with all of these big Christmas chocolate tins.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. So Quality Streets, Roses. What's the other one?
Celebrations?
Yeah, Celebrations. So the first one was Roses. I was like, fuck it, we all feel shit. We're all poorly. The kids have been poorly for a week. Me and Lucy coming down. I'm going to buy a box of roses. So I bought a box of roses. I came home. Box of roses. I opened them up. I gave one to each of the boys. Because
there's less in there now.
I put it back on the side. I came in. And later on, my youngest comes in and says to Luce, what does he say to you?
What's that?
Can I have some candy?
Oh, yeah.
Luce venomously spat. You're British. They're sweets or chocolates.
It's driving me insane. And it's from YouTube. And he's already got like the sort of like Americanized accent. It's driving me insane. He's probably maybe 2 weeks away from calling a tap a faucet and calling the path the sidewalk.
It's a faucet.
And I have to like nudge him back on the British side every time. Like, Ben, we don't call it that. We call it the bin. It's not the trash. It's the bin.
Does it matter though?
It matters to me because it's identity. Absolutely, it matters.
But trash is trash.
No, it's not. We call it the bin and we call it rubbish. It's your identity, babe. We're British. Come on. These things matter.
Molecule Cody and Nigel Matthews, thank you so much for the gifted. Nigel Matthews, thank you for the 5. You're a hero. Love you dearly. Puts us on 66, just 3 away from the sacred number. Liam dove into a box of Quality Streets. On his dive, he grabbed all the purple ones. No.
Oh, I see. I'm beginning to see it.
Which one? Which ones do you pick out of the chocolates, out of the roses?
I save the strawberry ones for the boys.
But if you didn't have to, strawberry ones are the best, right?
Yeah, orange is pretty good though.
Orange is pretty good though. It's Carl's on it again.
I know. I think he's just jealous, if I'm honest.
Candy is hard candy, like Werther's Originals. No, there's no such thing as candy. Candy in this house refers to one thing and one thing only.
What?
Canes that go on Christmas trees.
Okay.
Well,
I thought you were going to make up some woman of the night who's called Candy.
I mean, that would have been funnier, to be fair.
Thinking, where are you going with this?
She's dead and in the wardrobe. Did you Steve? Thanks for the 5. It's like shoved and shivved. Only one involves being in prison and filing down a toothbrush. Maybe more effort dived. Brilliant. Thanks, Steve. Shivved. Strawberry one's the best. Exactly. 100%. We're a worldwide community these days. We are, yeah. We are. We're accepting of everybody here, Jonathan. It's just Louise doesn't want the kids to sound like everybody else.
Yeah, there's like embracing all of our lovely cultures because immigration's a thing and everybody's a jet setter and countries don't seem that far away anymore. And then there is just glazing over all the little cultural bits that make you, so we all sound like one person. And it's not right, and it's the rubbish, not the trash.
It'd be interesting actually to, and I'm not picking a fight here.
Of course not. Go on.
Okay. But it'd be interesting to purposely listen to you for like 2 to 3 weeks and see if there is in fact any things you say that are like Americanisms or modernisms, even in British language that we, which there will be. The second one, the latter, almost definitely there will be. But like, I'm still one of those grumpy men as well. They'll hear someone say something on the TV, like we were talking about the other day. Oh, that gives me the ick. I don't recognise that word. What are you talking about?
That's a childish word. That's why. It's got nothing to do with culture. It's just childish.
Not a word. Get out.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, there's other ones, isn't there, about, like, there's other slang terms they use now as well. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what half these are, to be honest with you. But that's how fucking old I am.
Well, I think we're just out of the loop there.
And I'm like, no, that's not a word. That wasn't in the dictionary when I was a child. It's not a word. It's as simple as that. But actually, language has evolved forever. If you think about,
so language is a constantly evolving thing. If you could find audio from the 17th century in England, it doesn't sound much at all the way we talk now. So language is always. But
even then, the origin of our language isn't like, we're a bastardized mix of like Germanic and French and all sorts and Latin mixed in to make our nonsense language. So even the British identity isn't truly British itself.
No, I know, but there's just things that's.
Alex, so 2 people listened when I said gift 1. Nurgle Matthew slipped and hit 5. We'll let him off. But Alex Randall and Molecule Cody gifted 1 each. Out of the 190 people, 2 of you listened, just so you can get me to bed. Liam shilling the American words hard tonight. Don't you start. Thank you so much, Alex, by the way, for the gifted. You're a hero. Up to 67. Can we get to at least 100? 33, chat. Come on.
Do you reckon you use any Americanisms?
Do it for the kid. Almost definitely.
Really?
Especially because I now talk to Titans twice a week. 100% I do.
Do you have that thing where you very quickly adopt?
Yeah, I'm
things?
terrible for it. I'm very bad for it. I didn't take long when I was in the military to adopt the military bastardized language, which is a bit from everywhere.
I feel your pain, Luce, and I'm American. My 3-year-old daughter loves watching Peppa Pig and is adopting a British accent. She calls me daddy just like a wee British lad now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Daddy?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Love it.
Adopting a British. Do not adopt a British accent just off Peppa Pig.
Yeah. I mean, it does mean you can then be cast as the bad guy, but you know. Liam, say schedule wrong. You're going to tell me it's schedule, isn't it? I think it's schedule. Schedule or schedule. Mr. Dave B listened to. Look at that. People are listening.
Schedule, because it's school, not shul. Like schedule.
Aluminium. I wanted to know if she says it properly and not the crayon lodged in the brain American way.
Aluminium.
Aluminium,
Not
yeah.
aluminum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's aluminium.
Yeah, there's an American comedian, I can't remember his name. He's like, it's aluminum. Oh, no, it's aluminium. He's doing a show in the UK when he's arguing with the audience. And he spells it on his iPhone. He's like, there isn't a second eye. Then he reads it, it's like, oh, the fuck, it is a second eye. Whoops. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dave, for the gifted as well. You're a hero. Puts us on 68 now. 32 to go, chat. Come on. Do it for the kids.
I think that's exactly why it annoys me, because Ben is British.
I actually... Go on.
And he's in a British household, being raised by British parents, so your culture is British.
He's surrounded by British parents, being braised by American YouTube.
Isn't that interesting? There was, when we were kids...
Matt Rife, that's the one, yeah.
When we were kids, I think most of my cartoons were American.
Cartoons that I used to watch when I was kids. Oh, Jesus.
But I think,
The Simpsons, obviously.
Yeah, I think they were all American, and yet we retained our British.
I used to thoroughly enjoy a bit of Ed, and Eddie, and Dexter's Laboratory and cartoons like that. They're probably all American.
Yeah, I think they were all
but
American.
it was just TV rather than YouTube.
But what is it about YouTube that so many kids now pick up Americanisms?
I don't actually know.
I find it kind of fascinating.
It might just be overexposure. Because you think about how many cartoons or how much you watched when you were younger, it probably wasn't comparable to how much they watch.
Yeah.
And the other thing as well is now they're watching films and cartoons and playing video games, and so it's everywhere. It's all of it, isn't it? Essentially now.
Yeah, video games I played didn't really have talking on. They just had...
The video games I played was football, and it's because it's following the British Premiership. It was English commentators.
I played Mario, which didn't really have talking on.
In fact, I'll go as far as to say didn't really play games at all when I was a kid, comparatively, at least to how much they play.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tony Winnick, for the gifted, putting us on the sacred number, which means there's just 31 to go. I actually contemplated, Luce, genuinely. I don't know if this is the right thing to tell chat or not. But I actually contemplated if we hit the 150, just having tomorrow night off and resting. But they haven't. No. They want to keep us here. Well, you don't laugh. You're ruining the bit. You're ruining the bit.
Sorry. Try again.
You can't be the performer or the actor around this woman. It's impossible.
Oh, I'm on a 40-second delay. I can't wait for it to come up again.
Brilliant.
There it is again.
Hold on, Varak does scams, not you. He does, you're right, yeah. You're a terrible actor, Liam. I'm actually a good actor when Luce isn't in the room laughing at me all the time. Sorry for the horrible noises you're hearing as well, chat. I'm trying to fight through this. I reckon this cold's going to really come out over the next 2 days.
Yeah.
I actually think I'm not going to make the Hellstorm event. We'll see. I'm holding out hope that we might be able to fight it off for 2 days and be okay by Friday.
I was doing...
yes, Garcia, I'm asking for mercy. That's correct.
I was doing our last term of the year, doing all the planning, and luckily it's what I've called sweeps term. So any work that we were too sick to do, because we had COVID earlier in the year as well, too sick to do, or a bit of autism burnout or anything like that, it just gets swept away into term 7, then we'll pick it up later. And I'm really grateful, because if this cold is the cold that's going around, it's taken forever to get over.
Yeah, the kids have had it for over a week now. I think we're going to suffer from it quite badly. The problem is as well, and this is on me, chat, this is me issue, but because we've been working so hard over the last few weeks as well with the studio, I don't think, like, today was the first time where I've actually tried to just take my foot off the gas a little bit. I still took all that scenery to the studio earlier, but I'm like, I sat there and I honestly, when you messaged me about lunch and soup, that's sick foods is soup, I was sat there in the studio, I was about to start doing a load of work in there, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have the energy, I feel shit. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go home, I'm going to hunker down, I'm going to make hot lemon, I'm going to sit there, I'm just going to be miserable, basically. Yeah. And I'm just going to try and ride it out. And I think, I honestly, chat, I'll stream every night, as long as I'm literally not dying, but you're going to have to be patient with us, because I think my voice is, like, the kids have had it, like, their cough has been, it's like, sometimes I think there's a family of seals upstairs.
Yeah, it's that croup cough.
It
sounds a lot like it's
that,
not
like bark rather than a cough.
It's not, but it's so close to it. And I did read somewhere that if you get croup older than toddlerhood, it can be quite dangerous. So if you get croup as a baby or a toddler, it's already quite dangerous. But if you get it older, it can be a real... It
does potentially mean, in seriousness, that there won't be a game on Thursday, because we all know that Joe is a national treasure.
That we must protect
at all costs. So I can't give him this. He's going to have to swing by to pick his army up for Hellstorm, but we can just unlock the garage and be like, you go get your army. I won't cough on you.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, right? When I used to work in management, I used to fucking hate this. People would turn up sick. You're like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
I'm not very well, boss, but I'm well enough to work. Like, no.
Yeah.
We don't need you to work. We have enough members of staff that we can actually afford not to have you. But what happens if you're here and you're working in your exam team of 5 people is the other 4 people then get it.
That's what I couldn't understand when you were serving, was that you had to go on sick parade. Baffling. You're clearly contagious. You should stay home and get well, but no, you have to get dressed and shave and do the whole 9 yards just in case they decide you're not sick enough and you've got to go into work. As a grown adult, you couldn't decide your own sick. Well, I guess you could when you get to, what was it, sergeant?
I'm not sure. It depends. I don't know. But yeah, it's
baffling.
I was always one of those that was like, if you've got, I mean, people typically, if they had something like DNV, they would stay off work anyway, which is fine. But even then, I had it yesterday, but I'm all right today. It's like 48 hours, fuck off.
Yeah.
Not anywhere near me, quite frankly. And it was the same as colds and stuff like that. Like, we even had a guy, bless him, who came in. The shift was riddled with people off with COVID, really scratching. And this guy came in and he was sweating and coughing. And I was like, the fuck are you doing here? And he was like, well, I know how short the team is. I was like, you look like you've got COVID. I'll probably be fine. Get the fuck out. And I had someone follow him down with anti-brack spray.
That's so mean.
But where are you better off, right? Are you better off with having one extra less person because you've gone, stay home, you're sick? Or in a week's time, you've then got 5 extra less people because he's infected 5 other people?
Yeah.
It makes sense, right? So, although Brum gave it to us...
Thanks, Brum.
We see him loads. I mean, and we've got kids. It's gonna, like, if Joe came in here tonight to stream and play a game with me and Eddie, right? If they both, because they were both due tonight, and I told them don't come. If they both come, Eddie takes it back to his 1-year-old and his missus, who's still waiting for more fucking brain surgery. Joe takes it back to his missus, who is a cleaner for a living, so if she doesn't work, she doesn't get paid, and gives it to their 2 kids who go back to school next week. Like, and then those kids go to school because they have to, because parents have got to work, and then they give it to all the kids in the class, and it just goes and it spreads, doesn't it? But it does ultimately. And then just because I was like, I need to do a game to keep, and I do want to keep giving you guys content. Clearly, I'm like, then we could be potentially affecting tens, even more, like 50s, hundreds of people with a head cold that is nasty. It's shit. It's horrible. So we're better off just hunkering down.
Yep.
And then we'll ride it out for the week or so. We'll be fine.
What's your... Because I asked in Discord...
30 to go, chat. 5 minutes, go. 6 if you give 5. Come on.
I asked in Discord, what's your sick food? So mine was the tomato and red pepper soup and an egg toasty.
I don't really... An egg toast. I've never had one of those before. I don't really
thought you were having me on.
I don't really have... Summer fruit.
Yeah.
Berries. I find them really easy to eat. And they're obviously good energy foods. When I was orange Lucozade, not really food though, but orange Lucozade is my go-to. That's why there's a 4-pack in the fridge right now.
Yeah.
Dairy milk chocolate.
Yeah.
This is a throat soother.
Right. Yeah.
And I haven't had it for so long. I don't know if I still like it, but I used to be mad for chicken and mushroom soup.
It's soup again.
Chicken and mushroom soup.
Yeah.
Yep. I used to dunk buttered toast into it.
Oh, I love it. Toast. Toast is great. Just bosh it in. You can die quietly on the floor for 3 minutes while it cooks. Drag yourself up to the kitchen unit. Attempt to put butter on it because even it hurts to even butter toast. And you've got a meal. Done. I've eaten. Yes, I've eaten. Get off my back. I've eaten. I've had toast.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
I have in the past been also known to be a terrible person for ordering things like Chinese when I'm sick. Because it's my proper comfort food. So when you just feel shit all day and you can't be bothered to make anything, and it's probably not that good for you. I mean, it's got a lot of like sugar in it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's at least when you eat it, you're like, it's comfort food, you know.
Yeah.
I tell you, I remember what my favourite was. A proper thick with 3 C's, not 3 K's like Brom. A proper thick beef stew.
Where the gravy is its own food group.
Yeah. Where you could probably eat the gravy with a fork. Yeah, that kind of thick. Like that, especially when it like you put it out the oven in a stew pot. That when you take the lid off, it is piping hot. You spoon it on your plate. You get lots of buttered bread because it's all soft as well. Because you've cooked this stew so much that you could probably eat the potato through a straw. Because it's so soft, like honestly. So there's nothing hurts to swallow, and it's a proper stew. So there's carrot and potato, and you've got your meat, and like it's a proper stew. And you've got your bread, and because it's thick butter, you dunk it in the hot stew. Oh, it used to be my favorite winter food after a cold day at work
that
as well.
That sounds amazing. Hop to it.
Oh fuck all chance. Chinese it is then. Trout, thank you for the 5. You listened. Neil, thank you for the 1. We're not going to do it, chat. Again. They don't love us anymore, Luce. It's a fact. They don't love us
Sick
anymore.
work pack is Lucozade, McCoy's cheese and onion, along with Boost bars.
See,
It's too crunchy. That's too crunchy.
Yeah, the McCoys, I'm against anything that's scratchy on the throat.
We're against it. We're anti-scratch.
Yeah. Anything that's like I'm eating scouring pad, I'm not interested. if it's like I have to chew with a Brillo, no thanks.
Chicken noodle soup and Lucozade does the job. See, that's 2 that have said Lucozade now.
Oh, I used to be a bit. None of this is good food. This is what I used to eat when I was sick. I used to be mad for some chicken super noodles.
It's not. Yeah, you're right. It's not food.
It's not food, but it's comfort.
Is it?
And you'd cook your chicken super noodles, and then you put them in a bit of bread and fold it over and have a super noodle sandwich.
Super noodle sandwich. You sound like a student.
Super noodle sandwich. Every 40k YouTube channel, but like 1 is down on views and subs and all that. Yeah, it's not. We're actually up on views and subs because of Eddie's shorts, thankfully.
Eddie's shorts are great.
Eddie's shorts are great. I hated being sick as a kid because I'm from a place where lobby is mooted as the cure for everything, from a cold to terminal illness. I hate lobby. What's lobby, Ozzy?
Lobster?
I don't think so.
That's a posh food, isn't it? Tommy soup and cheese on toast.
24 members to go, chat. Come on. 183 people. You can do it. Tommy soup. Oh, tomato soup.
Yeah, with cheese on toast.
But you've just ruined tomato soup for me.
No, I made it better.
Ruined it.
I've made it better.
When this cold starts really kicking in, the spicy, is it butternut squash? Is that the hot
butternut
one?
squash or sweet potato with chili flakes.
Yeah, that. That clears us out a bit.
Oh!
That's good. Super noodle sandwich is probably my go-to sick food now that you mention it. See, yes.
It's not food. I asked him would have ice cream.
Why not? I don't mind ice cream, but it's never my go-to.
I'm already shivering with a cold. I wouldn't want cold food because I think I'd actually get hypothermia.
Gaz, she absolutely is coming down with it as well, I'm afraid.
Am I?
Yeah, you said you've been feeling shit all day.
I've been feeling shit.
So yes then.
Pot noodles.
Taco Bell. No, Neil. No. No, that's not food.
It's the same as super noodles.
No, it's not.
It's freeze-dried
No,
noodles.
it's not. No. I'm definitely a sulky ill person. I am.
Ooh, hot ham and cheese is my favourite sick food. Is that a toasty or a sandwich? Well, it'd have to be a toasty, wouldn't it? It's hot.
Right, chat. We're going to get these next 24 members in. Or are we going to go? What do you reckon, Luce? It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, my teeth are quite painful. I'd like to go, please.
Your teeth are painful.
Have you never had that when you get a head cold, your wisdom teeth start aching? And...
I don't have any wisdom teeth.
Oh, there you go. No wisdom.
They all got taken out.
I remember that day when they all got taken out. Those nurses were so nice.
To you?
Yeah, to me.
I mean, one of us had surgery. They would just threw up out in the car park.
Yeah.
Subway. Lehman Russ. Subway's dead to me now.
Oh, yeah.
Subway's dead to me now.
Because they won't do a Subway melt.
They have all the ingredients.
Grow up, Liam. Grow up.
They have all the ingredients.
Yeah, well, they're not allowed. It's just a sandwich. Choose a different one.
No, Subway's dead to me. I'm not going Subway again. Done.
So I've put little notes in my phone. If the boys need cheering up and we're near a Subway, I've put, don't bother asking Liam. He's in a Mardy over a Subway melt.
If you don't do a Subway melt anymore, I'm not going to Subway anymore. It's not hard. They have all the ingredients.
For whatever reason, they're not doing the classic Subway melt anymore.
They
so
can
just choose a
charge
different
me.
one.
They can charge me the highest price for sandwich that they sell, as long as they make me my Subway melt.
I can't wait until this comes up as a comparable thing in an argument.
Nope.
I can't wait.
It's not hard. It's ham and bacon, basically.
It's not. There's other stuff. For whatever reason, they can't do it. Maybe it's like 10th edition. Maybe they think they're making it better and they're not, and it'll be back soon.
Evan and Zazie, thank you so much for the gifteds. You legends. Come on. We can do it. Luce is searching for her loose fact. 22 to go. 2 lots of 10 and 2 lots of 1, and we'll do it. Come on. They do melts in Canada. We're moving to Canada. There we go.
We're going.
Do melts in Cumbria. There's lots of melts in Cumbria, Dave. Thought you can still make your own Subway. What's this, Luce, that they're saying?
Yes, you can still make your own Subway, but you have to... So they have a thing on the wall that you say, oh, well, can I have, like, for example, a meatball marinara? So they have to put the basics in there, and then they ask you what salad you want. So you still, to a point, make your own Subway, but I think you have to go off.
Yeah, Paul Jones says you can't create your own sub now. Set menu.
Yeah.
Could I have a meatball, hold the meatballs, add bacon, ham, cheese,
Probably not.
toast it,
It's probably not.
right? And then I do my salad. Seems reasonable. Come
It's
on, chat.
just
22
a
members.
sandwich.
22. No, it's not. It's principle. Not having it. Subway's dead. Subway. How upset would you be if McDonald's stopped doing Big Macs?
I just find a different burger to
Don't lie to me.
Yes,
You'd be
I
sad.
would. Or I just wouldn't go to McDonald's and I'd go somewhere else. But I wouldn't then start pissing and moaning about McDonald's every chance I got.
You brought it up.
I would just be, oh no, I'll go somewhere else. Thanks. That's it.
So you'd go somewhere else?
If I tried all the burgers and I thought, no, nothing really quite.
Who was Tim calling him Mel? Right, we've got a loose fact. Okay, I assume that's what you were doing in that book there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you a loose fact right now. You don't deserve it, quite frankly, with the 78 members. But perhaps you can redeem yourselves during the loose fact. Hang on.
It is estimated 61% of Americans regularly pee in the shower.
That is a fucking horseshit fact.
Why is it just America that get polled
Do you know
on
why
these
it's
things?
a horseshit fact? Because it starts with, it is estimated. Well, it's not a fact then, is it?
How many households got this question through? Could you please answer honestly? Do you pee in the shower? Oh yeah, I don't mind. Tick, done, send it back. Did they go to 61% of houses and stand in the bathroom while
who knows?
people were in the shower?
Clearly not, because they just estimated. About 61%. 61% is an accurate estimation as well, isn't it? Like, if you're going to estimate... This is how you know that's bollocks. If you're going to estimate, you're like, about 60% of people piss in the shower.
Can you put those two words next to each other in a sentence? Accurate estimation. Can they go together?
I mean, yeah, well, you can have a more accurate estimation, I guess, but
Well,
it's not a fact, is it? If it's an estimate, it's not a fact. We're guessing. Here's a fact for you. I guess. Not a fact. You've guessed. Yeah, I'm calling bullshit on that one. Zazu says it's more than that. John H says higher. Why Americans as well,
I know.
specifically?
why not anywhere else?
I think about 50% of them don't shower, so...
Yes, they do.
Guys, quick plug, please. Oh, yes. If you have been lucky enough to be gifted a Skull tier membership tonight, or if you have become a Skull tier member tonight of your own accord, there is a giveaway going up in the Discord available to all Jarl tiers. So for just £4 to upgrade, you get access to the Jarls only area, which includes a council space in Discord.
Yeah, ready for this.
And part of that gives you free access to a Jarls only giveaway. So you don't have to pay anything for the giveaway. You don't have to buy yourself a ticket. None of that nonsense. You just go to the giveaway if you are a Jarl, click the giveaway, and then at the end of the time period, which is on Tuesday next week, 8 o'clock during stream, it will randomly select a winner of all the Jarls who entered for free, and you'll win a combat patrol box of your choice. If you don't want to miss out, then you could just upgrade to Jarl tier. There's a couple of things to note though. If you do upgrade, if you've been gifted a Skull tier, you are a Skull tier member and you want to upgrade to Jarl tier, it will just cost you the £4 to upgrade. But, and I want to make this really clear because it's the fairest thing to do, if you don't subsequently re-downgrade your membership once you've entered, or you don't cancel your membership, then it will move on to that as your reoccurring monthly. So if you got gifted a membership and you upgrade to Jarl, next month, it will take £9 from you as a monthly subscription. Okay, so if you don't want that because you want to rely on gifted memberships, then you want to be cancelling it again and they get given another health store, another gifted membership, right? Hellstorm Mikey taught me what a waffle stomp is. That's a poll I want to know about. So just be warned that if you do upgrade to get access to the giveaway, it will cost you £4 to upgrade, and you could win a combat patrol box. They're worth like £100. But if you don't cancel it or downgrade again, it will keep charging you at that amount, right? I don't think anyone doesn't know that. I just want to be clear with people because it's only fair to be clear with people, isn't it? Right, cool. Okay, so I think we're done here. There's no more members coming through.
Zazu says, pee on your feet to get rid of athlete's foot. I wasn't sure if that was true, but now someone else has said it. I wonder if it is true. I heard that years ago.
What's athlete's foot, though? Is it just dry skin?
No, I think it's a... is it a fungal infection in between your toes, and it makes your feet really itchy and sore, and you have to put a special cream on. But I did hear years ago, if you pee in the shower, the ammonia in your wee helps to combat athlete's foot. I wasn't sure if that was a real thing.
I only ever knew about it for jellyfish stings, and that's from friends.
So I don't think that's actually real. White vinegar works better on jellyfish. So
Gaz says, wow, Liam must be ill. He is even struggling to form sentences. I am. So normally what you do when you sit here is you read all the comments whilst still talking about the thing that you're talking about. So you can, one, filter, and two, make sure you look onto a comment and not miss it. So sometimes you're like, oh, well, there's a comment earlier, because I am reading all the comments as they come through. And you're trying to get to a point where you can... But just normally, if you're sat here perfectly healthy, you've got the brain power to do that. You can filter the comments whilst you're talking about what you want to talk about, whilst having a conversation with you at the same time. But when you've got a headache and you feel shitty and you're just thinking about bedtime, sometimes what happens then is I'm saying random words that I'm reading. So Paul Jones said Hellstorm Mikey. I said Hellstorm instead of Jarl here. Just because that's what's going on now. Oh no, I never broke it. Whilst I'm clinging on for those last 22 members.
Dave says athlete's foot is where Parmesan cheese is created.
Peed on an athlete's foot once. They weren't happy and it didn't help my feet either. Lovely. Lovely. Right. You lot are slackers. I'm going to have to put the target up tomorrow. All right. But thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday evening. You people are wonderful. Jesus Christ. Just at the end there. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. You guys are amazing. I don't think we even need to question that loose fact. The fact that it started with estimate gave that one away, I think. Tomorrow night, all being well, we'll be back for another at least, hopefully, 90 minutes with the 40k show. I think we're going to talk a little bit more about those Christmas boxes, maybe. I don't know yet. And then Thursday, at this rate, Thursday will probably be another Talking Head. In fact, you'll probably just get a week of Talking Head shows this week, because I don't think we can really bring people in for battle reports, to be honest with you, at the moment. We'll see how we're feeling, and I'll give Joe the choice, maybe. See, the other person who's supposed to be on Thursday is Brom, and I don't care about making him sick again, because it's his fault.
I don't think he ever got over the cold of
the
first ever cold he got.
He's still got it. He has still got it. So, thank you so much for hanging out with us. You people have been incredible. One final thing, if you do want to continue to support the studio build, there is a link in the description below for PayPal. Didn't mention it all stream, just bringing it up now, just in case. Right? We're now going to go get hot lemons, and I think we're gonna hit the soft stuff straight away.
Yeah.
Bedtime, early night. I think we need that. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We love you all dearly, and we'll see you in the next one.